For me, it's about the law and people. I just need facts, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Just facts. And how people can resolve their problems and just be better for it.
Justice with passion.
I always knew I was going to go into law because I tried to see everybody's point of view in an argument. And I encouraged people to talk to each other to try to resolve their problems.
Justice with truth.
Do not waste your time and do not waste mine.
This is Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez. Terry Atkinson is suing Alicia Smith in the amount of $2,000. Mr. Atkinson claims he purchased items for Ms. Smith during her pregnancy and says he was devastated to learn he wasn't the father of her baby.
Mr. Atkinson, you are suing Miss Alicia Smith in the amount of $2,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to me why.
Alicia and I were high school sweethearts. We got engaged after college, and soon after that, I was offered a job that would require me to travel quite a bit and be away for more than half the year. That started to create a lot of tension in our relationship, and we started to fight and have some issues, and we broke up for a month. After that month that we had been broken up, I reached back out to her, and we decided to get back together and give it another shot. And when we got back together, Alicia asked, had you seen anybody? Had you been dating anybody? And I said, absolutely not. And then I asked her the same question. And she said she had seen some people, but nothing serious. Within the next month or two, I started to notice that she was tired, she was really sleepy, and just noticing some different things about her. She's usually really energetic. And I said, maybe we should get a pregnancy test. And we went to the doctor, and turns out she was pregnant. We started, preparing the house, and I started buying things for the baby, and we were very excited, and the baby finally came, and it was wonderful. And about a month after that, my mom came to me and said, I don't think the baby is yours. And I was incredibly taken aback by that. I was like, how could you say that to me, Mom? What are you talking about? It's Alicia. A couple months later, I started to notice that the baby really didn't look like me. And I started to hear my mom's voice in the back of my head. And I asked her for a paternity test.
I was shocked. I thought he was the father, but because he wanted it, I said, okay, if it will make you feel better, we can get a paternity test.
Did you have any suspicion that he was not the father?
No.
No suspicion?
No, none at all.
He was the only person you had intimacy with before you got pregnant?
I had one night stand. I wore protection. I didn't think there was any way I could have ever got pregnant. It was a mistake. It was one night. I wish it never happened. And I'm not the kind of girl who doesn't wear protection. I carry around condoms. I honestly had no idea.
Didn't you think it was weird that only a month after you got back together you started feeling sick? Did you think that was too soon after you had intimacy with Terry?
I honestly, I never thought...
You never thought that maybe this other guy, it didn't even occur to you?
No, it never did.
Okay. All right, so you got the paternity test, and Terry's not the father.
It was devastating. It was so devastating. I was so upset. I had dreamed my whole life that he would be the father of my child, that we would have a family, that we would be together forever.
We got the test back, and I left. I left the house. We were together when we got the test, and I couldn't be around.
Did she tell you at that point that she did have sex with somebody else but used a condom?
Yeah, she admitted to it then. I just felt completely betrayed. She had all of this time to tell me and say something about it.
One night.
Did she have to? Because you guys were broken up.
She can do whatever she wants when she's broken up, but once we got back together and and she was pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that that never crossed her mind to say, hey, listen, I want you to know that there's a chance that this baby could
She claims she
possibly-
used protection.
Protection doesn't always work.
Yeah. All right. So then what happened afterwards, Terry?
I've been living on my own ever since, and just been trying to process all this because.
How long has it been since you moved out?
It's been a couple months, a few months.
Okay. All right. And how are you doing, Alicia?
It's been really hard, but it was my mistake, and I'm living with the results of them.
Coming up on Justice for All.
I haven't really wanted to talk or reach out or anything like that because this has been.
So then why sue her?
I just feel completely betrayed. I feel like I've been made a fool of myself.
And later,
At the beginning of the second month, he had me setting the weight myself. I didn't hear the lock engage, but he said to go ahead and lift it. I lifted it, and the weight fell on my toe and broke it.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez. We're back with the case of Terry Atkinson, who is suing Alicia Smith for $2,000.
We know, women know our bodies. I'm not judging you for it. I'm sure it's very scary for you to be in a situation like that, the love of your life. You don't want to say anything. Terry, you're suing for $2,000?
That's right.
Why $2,000?
So I have some documents here of everything that I spent to get ready for the baby.
Okay.
You can just give me everything you have.
Yeah, sure. I thought I was the father. I
Got it.
spared no expense. I wanted to get everything that we could possibly need, and that's the amount that it added up to.
At the time you bought these items, you bought them with the intent that you were the father,
Yes.
right? So they were going to be a gift.
Yes.
Okay. So did you ask her after you found out that you weren't the father, did you ask her to reimburse you?
I did not.
Why not? That would have been the easiest thing to do than bring her to court.
We had used some of the materials already. I left because I was really upset and I
got it.
really
And
just
you haven't
couldn't
spoken
be
to her.
there.
This is the first time you guys have seen each other?
That's
since?
correct.
Okay. Would you have reimbursed him?
I mean, he volunteered to do it. I'm not saying I would have paid for it, but honestly, I don't know if I would have got that much stuff for the baby in the first place.
Okay.
I mean, it was so generous, and I was grateful, but.
I mean, we went shopping together. We knew we needed all of these
Yeah.
things. She said, let's go shopping to prepare for the baby, and I said, absolutely, of course.
Yeah, and
Let's
he
do
did it, Alicia, assuming that it was going to be his baby, right?
Yes, but I also assumed it was going to be his baby.
Okay, all right. Didn't bother asking her, texting her, you just wanted to sue her?
Yeah, I haven't really wanted to talk or reach out or anything like that because this has been.
So then why sue her?
I just feel completely betrayed. I feel like I've been made a fool of myself.
I get it. So you're hurt and you felt humiliated and this is your way of getting back at her, right?
Yes.
Okay, at least you admit it. Okay, does it feel good?
None of this feels good.
But I mean, you just called her out publicly.
I don't know how to move on from this. I don't know what to do next. All I know is that I put all my time and energy and money into our child that is not our child. It's hers and somebody else's.
See, the problem is that, Terry, when you bought all these gifts, and I'm sure you spent a lot more. I'm sure $2,000 was just a tiny fraction of what you bought.
Just the surface.
I know that, but when you bought it, I have to look at the intent of when you bought them. And you purchased them because you thought they were going to be for your child. So at that moment, they were a gift. They were not conditioned on, hey, I'm buying this crib for our baby, but just in case, if he results not to be, or she results not to be my baby, then I want it back. Had she done it with a cruel intention, or she had purposely, and in a very evil way lied to you, then I would have maybe reconsidered this. But I don't think she She should have done things differently, but I don't think she did it with ill will or any type of malice. So I cannot grant your claim for $2,000 for those reasons. Understand? It might not, it's, you know, you're probably thinking, great, here's another loss for me. But I hope you understand legally I can't. I get you. I hear where you're coming from. You're hurt. You wanted to call her out. I get it. So many young men in your place and time would say, no, I want nothing to do with the baby. Do you think she lied to you on purpose?
I hope not. But I know she didn't
really,
tell me
come
the.
on.
I know she didn't tell me the
But do you
truth
think she
on
really
purpose.
lied to you on purpose?
I know she didn't tell me the truth on purpose.
I know, but do you understand why she maybe didn't tell you the truth? And it will be the biggest mistake in her life? She didn't want to lose you, maybe?
She didn't want to lose me, but you know what? If she had told me the truth, she probably wouldn't have lost me.
Really? Even if it weren't your baby?
If she had talked to me and said, listen, before this happens, before this baby comes out, I want you to know that I slept with somebody else and there's a chance. But I want to do this with you. I want to do this together. If we had had that conversation, things would probably be different.
Wow.
Because I found out later. My mother had to come tell me.
You're a great guy, Terry. Pretty amazing guy, but I understand it was very difficult for you. Maybe you guys can talk about it, but you understand how he feels, right?
And I have to live with what I did and my mistakes.
All right. Okay. But based on the evidence, as I stated before, this court will rule in favor of the defendant and against your claim of $2,000. Good luck, Terry. Okay, and Alicia.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm upset, but you know, there's nothing I can really do, I guess, and just have to move on.
I am not happy.
Coming up on Justice for All.
How many girls in the yoga class?
They were a bit off in the distance, maybe 20-ish.
20-ish? Wow.
Off in the distance. Okay. He keeps saying he was turning around. He happened to always be turning in the direction of the class. So I don't know why he's saying I was distracted.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez. Paul Hutchinson is suing Mario Rossi in the amount of $2,700. Mr. Hutchinson claims his toe was broken after a heavy weight fell on it and says his personal trainer is to blame.
So, Mr. Rossi, I understand you are a personal trainer.
I am, Your Honor.
Tell me about your business.
I am a personal trainer for about the last 15 years, give or take. And I specialize in mostly athletic fitness.
Okay. All right. So you have clients all over or just in your area?
I have a few clients in Florence that I no longer have because I live here now. But I have some actors.
Florence, Italy?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have some actors around here, some models, and some athletes as well.
How did you hear Mr. Hutchinson about Mr. Rossi?
So I'm a financial consultant, and a lot of the clients I work with also use him as a personal trainer.
Okay.
I was working with him. We worked out for like about a month. His routine was a little bit on the pricier side, but I'd heard good things.
And you hired him for 3 months?
3 months, $3,000.
So $1,000 a month, essentially.
Yes.
Oh, so tell me about the results.
So after a month, I lost a little bit of weight. I was starting to get some definition back, and then at the beginning of the second month, he had me setting the weight myself. I didn't hear the lock engage, but he said to go ahead and lift it. I lifted it, and the weight fell on my toe and broke it.
Coming up.
What Hutch failed to mention was that morning at 5:30, there was a women's yoga class also on the beach with us.
Cute
and
girl.
He was distracted. I kept having to tell him to focus in on what we were doing.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez. We're back with the case of Paul Hutchinson, who is suing Mario Rossi for $2,700.
Have you ever had a client injure themselves under your supervision before?
No, Your Honor, I have not. I am very careful with all of my clients because I want them to succeed. What Hutch failed to mention was that morning at 5:30, there was a women's yoga class also on the beach with us.
Cute
and
girls?
he was distracted. I kept having to tell him to focus in on what we were doing.
Oh, really?
I was focused. I was spending
How
money.
many girls in the yoga class?
They were a bit off in the distance, maybe 20-ish.
20-ish? Wow.
Off in the distance. Okay.
He keeps saying he was turning around. He happened to always be turning in the direction of the class. So I don't know why he's saying I was distracted.
And were they like near the shore or just in the middle of the sand?
Middle of the sand, maybe a little bit closer to the parking lot.
Closer to the parking lot. And then where was the park into this?
Also close to the parking lot, but just like in a different direction.
And this was like early in the morning?
Early.
Were they wearing t-shirts or those cute little sport bras?
Probably a mix at that point.
Oh, okay. All right, that's not bad. Okay. So did you follow up with him?
I did. I sent him a couple of text messages, Your Honor, if you wish to
Go ahead,
look.
Cinder.
Is there anything else?
Okay.
You can just give me
So
everything.
did you double check the weights and to make sure they were okay, Mr. Rossi?
I did. I have a receipt in there after I took them to Blur Fitness Equipment, and they checked out and said that everything is in perfect working operation. And I can show you if you wish.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Hutch over here says he couldn't hear the clicking.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss
Yep.
that.
Uh-huh.
And so what?
Yep.
It's very simple. You lift, you put down.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. Promotional consideration provided by.
What you're really asking the court to look and to examine is whether or not the defendant failed to act reasonably because he was under your care. So did he fail to act reasonably? So we need to go back and look. So the contract that you had with him or the services, the conditions were that you were always supposed to do the weights, right? Is it reasonable for a trainer to make you do your own weights and be responsible? I think so. I have to figure out what happened. You know, there weren't any prior problems. On this day, there must have been a distraction because you were responsible for doing that. There's nothing wrong with the weights, so I can't blame the weights being, you know, improper or not using. The only thing I could consider is that maybe you weren't paying attention because you did notice the yoga class had 20 girls, and some of them wearing sports bras, some were wearing t-shirts. They were a little bit off the shore. And the mere fact that you lifted the whole thing, you must have done it so fast. That's a lot of weight. No wonder it fell. The court, I do not find any negligent action. I do not find that the the defendant failed to meet his duty of care in taking care of his client at all. So based on the evidence, I will deny your claim for $2,700.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
These financial brats don't understand that what real working out is. I need to go find some athletes.
The Europeans getting what they want all the time.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.